Today Baba is giving us the Srimad to be pure, and Baba says purity is first. And in Satyug we are very powerful, so powerful that we rule over the whole world. But that power is inside. Yes, it is inside out. It's not based on what we have on the outside. And that power which is inside out comes from purity. And today I was just thinking, purity is the most difficult to define. So, peace is easy to define, love is easy to define, but purity is very difficult to define. And purity is a very powerful state. So the state of purity is a stage where you have the capacity of the lotus. Yes, so it is something within the lotus which enables it to stay clean despite the muddy water. Yes, it is that which is inside the lotus which enables it to stay clean despite the dirt and filth outside. So purity is that for the human soul. So, when there is purity, then I can stay in an impure world completely unaffected. And where there is impurity, then everything on the outside starts affecting me. And there's a very simple law. Either you will affect something or it will affect you. And if something on the outside is affecting you, then you are the affected. You cannot influence it. So when you are influenced, you cannot influence. And Baba says that this is why the power of purity gives you the power to transform. Because when you have purity inside, and so if you have knowledge, you may have knowledge, but you cannot make the not knowledgeful if you don't have purity. So if you want to influence the environment, if you want to influence the other souls, and the only way to change is by influence. So you want to bring about any change in the world, this power is mandatory. Without the power of purity, you cannot bring about change. This is not within yourself, not outside. So this is why purity is important. It is the power of purity which allows you to stay uninfluenced and which allows you to influence the atmosphere, the other souls. So that's the power of purity. And Baba says, in Satyug you rule with the power of purity. What is in the king that everybody, treats them like parents? It is the power of purity. So it is that purity which makes you rule the world in Satyug. But how do you arrive at that purity? Because you see that these days, at this point of time, every soul is very, very impure. So impure that even understanding purity becomes a big task. So how do we shift from this impurity to purity? And for that, Baba is giving a Shrimat. So the Shrimat that Baba gives is basically the Shrimat to become pure. And the more we internalize the knowledge, so today Baba points out that if you remember that I am the grandchild of Shiv Baba and the child of Brahma Baba, and technically we are all brothers and sisters because we are children of one God, then how can I criminally assault the other? So if a brother and a sister engage in lust, that would amount to criminal assault. And Baba says, you are brothers and sisters, because we are all grandchildren of Shiv Baba and children of Brahma Baba. So Baba says, if you just, delve deeply into this aspect of knowledge, who am I, who do I belong to, and what is my relationship with every other soul, then this knowledge will give me the power to be pure. So so imbibing knowledge, because according to the truth, so the truth is that we are all children of one God, having fraternal relationship with each other by design. Yes, so by design we are all children of Shiv Baba, and here in Sangam Yuga we are children of Brahma Baba. Shiv Baba adopted us through Brahma Baba, so we are all brothers and sisters to each other. So if we just hold this in our awareness, this would become a very good method. This would become a very good yukti, what we call in Hindi, to stay pure. And so purity is not, so purity is when we follow all of Baba's Shrimad, then the product is purity. So Baba has basically come to make us pure. So first thing is internalizing knowledge, whether it is this aspect of knowledge that we are basically brothers and sisters, or the aspect of knowledge that we are aiming to go to a world of purity where there is no lust, so where there is no vice. So if my aim is that, then how can I engage in vicious action now? So even when we have clarity of our aim, that is to go to the world of purity, that power of internalizing that clarity of what my aim is, that will also give me the power to be pure. Then another aspect of knowledge is I am by design a pure soul, and for 2 ages, the golden age and silver age, I remain viceless. Yes, so for 2 ages, I have not been vicious. There has been no trace. There is no memory of vices in those 2 ages. So the more you churn the Swadershan Chakra, then you get the power of purity, because you remember, you are always remembering that stage of your existence or that part in your drama where you're completely pure. And then Baba says, when you think about yourself as a soul and as the child of the ocean of purity, that also gives you the power of purity. So remembering Baba, so remembering the new world, remembering the sweet home, remembering Baba. So yoga, so knowledge is one aspect, knowledge is one internalizing knowledge, churning on knowledge, imbibing knowledge is one method to gain the power of purity. Then second thing is having yoga. When you remember your pure stage in the soul world, when you remember Baba, the ocean of purity, and when you remember the 2 ages when we have been completely pure, that also gives us the power of purity. That reminds us of our pure stage, and it pulls us into the consciousness of purity. So, when you are soul conscious, when you are supreme soul conscious, which is remembrance of Baba, when you are in remembrance of the pure home, and when you are in remembrance of the pure world, then that, my consciousness is elevated to a pure dimension. So that's also, so yoga is a very important element of purity. So with yoga, with the ocean of purity, you become pure. So that's another aspect. Then Baba tells us dharana. So, impure, so not engaging in actions, body, mind and wealth. So, we have 3 things. So the body, mind and wealth is that through which we create karma. So if we do not engage in impure actions through the body, mind and wealth, then there is a simple law which says, if you don't use it, you lose it. So if you are not allowing your impure sanskars to manifest themselves through body, mind and wealth by following Baba's directions, then that is also a very good method to become pure. Because if we keep engaging in impure actions of the body, mind and wealth, then obviously purity cannot be achieved, because our sanskars of impurity are getting reinforced all the more. Yes. So what is purity? Pure action through body, mind and wealth. So Baba says, through the body, do not engage in sensual pleasure. So this last sensual pleasure that one engages in through the body, if that is done, then the sanskar of impurity gets reinforced. So although every soul has sanskars of impurity, because 63 births of continuously engaging in actions based on lust, anger, ego, attachment, greed, and mainly lust and anger. So lust and anger is a very deep sanskar, but Baba says just refrain from engaging in actions of the body based on thoughts of lust and anger. And Baba tells us in the Murli that even if there are storms, even if there is a storm of lust or anger, even if it's driving you crazy, just don't engage in action. That's the most important. So when there is a de-addiction program, this is the method. So you just deal with the storm. So you don't give in to the storm. So basically, vices are also like addiction. So it's, what is addiction? How is addiction defined? When you continuously engage in an act which is harmful for you, but you don't leave it. So you know that it's harming you, it's not good for you, but you are not able to stop giving into it. That's called addiction. And lust and anger is the deepest form of addiction, because yeah, obviously when Baba tells us, we understand, but then why are we not able to give into it? Because there are withdrawals. So your ego starts hurting, and then you feel so many emotions and feelings, and it is driving you crazy and all of that stuff. So Baba says, just don't give in to it. And that's the only way you can de-addict yourself. So first thing is absolute abstinence from sensual engagement in sensual pleasures. That is first thing. Then Baba says, sensual pleasure doesn't mean just the act of lust, but even food, our food has to be sattvic and pure. So do not engage in this, even the other senses, whether it is the sense of the eye or the tongue or the ear. So we should be okay with pure food cooked in Baba's remembrance. If the tongue needs more than that, or all the time your eyes are looking at watching something interesting, ears are just pulling you to hear something interesting, all of that is again lust. So just be very wary of that. So our senses should not be our source of pleasure. So what should be our source of happiness? Baba, self-realization, not sensual pleasure. That is the first dharana we need to have. That is why celibacy, pure food, and not engaging in waste, watching, hearing, all that is a very important dharana for the one who is aiming to be pure. Then there is this is the purity of the body, and then there is the purity of mind. So in the mind also, Baba says, when there are thoughts of when then there are thoughts of based on body consciousness, you're thinking about other people's bodies, your own body, thinking about people's actions, events, you are thinking about somebody or something which is making you have thoughts of anger or lust or jealousy or criticism or any of that kind. Just check and change. So when there are thoughts like that, you cannot resist them, but check and change. And the more you become aware that you have a lot of these negative thoughts and waste thoughts going on, increase your yoga power. So just try to increase your yoga power. Just try to practice more soul consciousness and remembrance of Baba. Don't think about the old world. So if your mind and buddhi is tuned into the old world, the impure world, then thoughts of the impure world, which are thoughts based on vices, will fill your mind. That's why Baba says, to refrain from, to have purity of mind, it is very necessary to be man mana bhav, to remember Baba. So until you give your mind to Baba, the mind cannot be pure. And even when we talked about the body, Baba is continuously telling us to be a trustee. What is a trustee? A trustee who is somebody who understands and who really believes. It's not just about telling Baba that, I am a trustee. No. When you have this deep dharana that I am a soul and this body, this mind, this wealth belongs to Baba, then you have this respect for the body, this respect for the mind, that you don't abuse it. So, there is a very interesting association between ownership and abuse. And it is paradoxical, but you abuse that which you own. You don't abuse that which you don't own. So the moment you think that this is my body, then as soon as you have a moment of privacy, you start abusing it. So, even if somebody is a diabetic and he knows he will die, or he will suffer if he takes more sugar, he will not eat sugar in front of other people, but he will eat sugar as soon as he is alone. So, you don't mind dying when you're alone. So you just give in to your sensual desires and other stuff. So Baba says you have to have this deep dharana that this body is not mine. This body belongs to Baba, and Baba, the ocean of purity, has taken my body. I've surrendered my body to Baba, and this body is now committed to the task of purifying the world, to the seva of purifying the world. So I do not have a right to engage in impure actions through this body. So you have to have this deep dharana that this body is surrendered, this mind is surrendered. And if you don't have this dharana, then even if you think that I want to be pure and I don't want to engage in actions which are impure, but if you have not made yourself a trustee, and if there is not this deep surrender, then this beautiful law that whatever you call your own will ultimately be abused will start working. And then you will end up engaging in vicious action. This is why it has to be very deep inside, deeply seated, that this body is not mine, it belongs to Baba, and this body is surrendered to the task of purification of the world. So no impure act can happen through this body. And I am just a trustee taking care of this body, which is an instrument for creating a pure world. So just think about this. So when you sit in meditation, along with creating an attitude towards yourself and remembering Baba, create an attitude towards the body, the the mind, the wealth, the other relationships that are around you, that you are a trustee of them. So just in meditation, spend some moments also practicing that swaman, that I am a trustee and I am not the owner. So this swaman will help you to rise above this tendency or this pull to abuse that which you own. So this is one thing. And then surrender the mind, be man manabhav. This mind is here to do mansa seva. This mind belongs to Baba, and Baba is radiating his light and might through my mind always. Do you look at your mind like that? What is your mind? Your mind is a conduit for the energy of the Supreme Soul to reach the souls of the world. Do you even understand the importance of your mind? So this mind, that is man manabhav, this mind which is connected to the mind of God, is the conduit which is making this world, vibrate with peace and purity and love. So I cannot make the impurity of the world interfere with my mind. So that's how you keep your mind pure. So even if there is a thought, just check and change it by knowing that that's not what your mind is for. And then there is the purity of money, so wealth. So when you use your wealth for when you use your wealth motivated by lust, anger, ego, attachment, greed, and your wealth goes to impure souls, then that wealth is creating karma, because that wealth is being used to create greater Kali Yuga. So this is why my wealth is surrendered to the task of creating a pure world, and my wealth is just for this purpose. All my money is for being used to create used for the task of creating angels from humans, deities from humans. So my wealth is for yajna seva. When you have this deep dharana, then you will be able to overcome the temptation, which Maya gives you to waste your wealth and use it for, pursuits of sensual pleasures, or, just give it away to impure souls because you are attached to them. So all that purity of wealth will also happen when you think about yourself as a trustee. And so you create karma through body, through mind, and through wealth. And when that karma is created, then those karma have consequences. So it's not like if you use your wealth to create greater Kali Yuga, then you will not suffer because of it. And I will tell you one very simple example which just happened a few days ago. So there is this Kumar, and he got a job, and then it's not like he doesn't do yajna seva. He does yajna seva also. He supports Baba's task also, but maybe he does 20% of it or 30% of it, but 70% is with him. And then you see that that Kumar is earning a lot of money. These days when you get a job, sometimes you get very high paying jobs. So that Kumar is earning a lot of money, but he does yajna seva also, but then he has a lot of money at hand also. And then you see what are needs. So you need 4 dresses, 5 dresses, not more than that. You need a small house, and you pay the rent. And so basically your needs are met in 10,000, 15,000 or 20,000 a month. But then all the extra money, what to do with that? So what he does is he keeps just all day, what he's doing is he's doing online shopping. So window shopping. So he will just open a website, see everything available there, and sometimes buy a thing or two or the other. And then if you keep doing online shopping all day, what will be your state of mind? So he started doing that. And then after some point of time, he thought maybe I should invest my money in the share market. And then he started doing that share thing, and then he lost 5 lakhs in that. And then he was very heartbroken, and then he called me, and then he said, Didi, this money has driven me crazy. So I don't know, I always thought that money will solve my problems, but I think when I didn't have money, I was very okay, but now I am going into all the wrong things because of this money. And then I told him, why don't you think of yourself as a trustee? So don't just think that a portion of my wealth belongs to Baba. No, whatever I have belongs to Baba. And even if you are not using it right now in seva, just have this attitude that this belongs to Baba. And even when you save it, you must know that tomorrow when I go to Madhuban or do something, or there's a big seva, then I will surrender it. But being a trustee will save you. And then he started doing that, and now his life is so much better. So Baba says that so being a trustee will save you from creating vikarma, because energy in the body, thought, mind space in the mind, and extra wealth, these are the biggest sources of vikarma. And for a vikarmi soul, energy is always less, thoughts are always less, and money is always less, because you're a papi, so you are always tempted to do so much pap that the resources are never enough. But if you are on the path of purity, you will always feel that there is extra energy, extra capacity to think, and extra money. And if you don't think about yourself as a trustee, then that temptation Maya gives will make you create vikarma. So this is the dharana you need to be pure. So if you don't surrender your body, mind and wealth, then purity is not possible. So imbibing knowledge, remembrance, and then this dharana. And then the fourth thing is seva. So I've already covered seva. So seva also is the subject which makes us pure, because in seva, apart from the body, mind and wealth, our sanskars also get purified. So once you think about yourself as a sevadhari, then you purify your body, mind and wealth. That is one thing. But our sanskars also get purified, because you see, somebody who doesn't ever tolerate will tolerate for seva. So when you are a sevadhari and somebody is hurling insults at you, you will say, okay, if I shout back, then probably they will be discouraged from listening to Gyan, so let me just tolerate it. So it starts like that. And once you start using your powers and your virtues, because most people don't get an opportunity to use their virtues. So let's say in Lokik life, maybe you have created a position for yourself where nobody insults you. Yes, mostly in Lokik life, if you have conducted yourself with dignity, and if you have done a lot for others, or maybe maybe you're just rich, or maybe you're in a big position and nobody insults you, then there is no opportunity to tolerate. And there was this one brother, and he said that, so when I asked him, what seva do you want to do? So he's very, financially very rich according to the world. And then he said, I want to do, seva, something like, cleaning dishes, or maybe you just put me out at the gate of the center and I will be the watchman or something. So I said, why do you want to do that? So he said, because, when I'm standing there, people don't know who I am. So they will behave normally with me, and then I will have to use my power to tolerate, because I never need to use my power to tolerate. Everybody is always polite to me because of my position otherwise. So if I don't tolerate, if I don't accommodate, how will I grow? So I said, yeah, that's a very good idea. And he said, if I'm washing dishes, nobody will think, I'm a businessman, I'm wealthy or something. So maybe they'll just come and tell me, okay, you wash this also, or why are you not washing it fast? And then I will use my power to tolerate. So I would like that. So that was very sweet. And this is how, you in seva, when you are a sevadhari, you do what you're asked to do. Yes, so whatever seva you're given. And in that seva, maybe you don't enjoy the privileges of who you are in your Lokik life. And when that situation comes, then you have to deal with situations you usually avoid because of your power and position in the Lokik world. And that is a very good method to purify your sanskars. So in seva, not just our body, mind and wealth which is used for seva gets purified, but even our sanskars get purified, because we have to use our virtues and our powers and everything. And maybe you are in a role where you cannot be very sweet. You may be sweet inside, but you cannot be a sweet talker. Maybe you are in a role like that. But when you are a sevadhari, you can practice talking sweetly also. So you in seva, you are given many opportunities where you can use your skills, use your qualities, your virtues, your powers, which otherwise are very difficult to use. And until you use them, how do you master them? So this is the method to be pure. And this is why Gyan Yog Dharana Seva is very important. And when the more you get purified, you automatically feel that you are not influenced by behaviors and events and the old world in general around you. And then even if you are in an atmosphere or around souls who are full of vices, you don't get attracted or pulled into their vicious nature, nor do you get annoyed and frustrated by their behaviors. And that is something which happens when you practice these knowledge, yoga, dharana and seva. So this is why Baba is the purifier, and Baba is giving us the roadmap to purity. And the more we follow Srimad, the purer we will become. Okay? Om Shanti.